Honda's two-mode hybrid system has indeed gotten better. It's always felt the most electric of them all, and it's been our choice for all-round drivability, with fewer moments of indecision than Hyundai's one-motor system in the Tucson hybrid, and less of the rubber band feel that can make Toyota's planetary hybrid system in the RAV4 hybrid less charming at times. To fit the new premium thrust of the hybrid system, Honda has separated its CR-V lineup into two tracks. The standard CR-V is now powered by a 1.5-liter Turbo 4 engine and CVT, while the CR-V hybrid gets a new version of Honda's two-motor hybrid system. Honda has positioned the lineup such that versions with the hybrid system are now positioned as sportier options. Even in trim name, it's emphasized as such: Sport and Sport Touring for the hybrid, versus X and XL for the standard versions. The trim levels aren't just marketing smokescreen. To make the hybrid system sharper and more responsive, with more torque accessible at lower speeds and more horsepower available at higher speeds, it revisited the layout of the two-motor system, moving the two motors away from the same axis, and sized them both up. The new mechanical arrangement isn't as elegant for packaging, even though Honda's managed to downsize the power unit, but it allows the motors to operate at different ratios, bulking out the torque curve. You can tow with the new hybrid system, just 1 pound, but it's enough for a pair of ATVs. And to allow the towing, Honda has further tweaked the configuration for more engine braking. While some earlier iterations of this system tended to cycle back and forth between power sources at typical American freeway speeds, this system now appears to keep the engine locked to the wheels for longer periods, resorting less to revving the engine for minor grades. The gasoline engine itself is also completely new, a direct injection, Atkinson cycle 2.0-liter inline-4 that makes modest improvements in power and torque throughout the rev range. It's now at 145 horsepower and 138 pounds-ft of torque, while the figures that matter are the output numbers for the hybrid system: 204 horsepower, 247 pounds-ft of torque. The CR-V hybrid is vastly improved in terms of smoothness and refinement, and there's no one particular thing to point to. For the powertrain, a flywheel pre-damper helps with low load vibration, engine intakes have been redesigned for noise, and the engine itself is stiffer with a more rigid crankshaft, adding to the sense of refinement when it's revving into its upper ranges. As for fuel efficiency, the 2023 CR-V hybrid achieves 43 miles per gallon city, 36 mpg highway and 40 mpg combined with front-wheel drive, which wasn't available before. The all-wheel drive system, which is now capable of a 50-50 power distribution versus the old 60-40 split, can achieve 40 mpg city, 34 mpg highway and 37 mpg combined. That's 1 mpg combined worse than before, but at such elevated mpg figures, it barely matters. All-wheel drive is an option on the Sport and standard on the Sport Touring. And by the way, those are the only trim levels available as the hybrid. The X and XL are exclusively paired with the Turbo. Another key hybrid-related update is the new B mode that increases regenerative braking to a point that's perhaps 80% of the way to one-pedal driving. It won't bring the CR-V to a complete stop as many EVs can do, but it does make a difference in terms of efficiency and in traffic driver fatigue. It is selected by sliding the traditional shifter past D into B, and the driver can then fine-tune it by selecting one of 4 levels using steering wheel paddle shifters. The car won't default back to the max setting when you start the car again if you were previously using it, which is a bit frustrating. As for the rest of the driving experience, the 2023 Honda CR-V is notably a more refined and stable car than its predecessor. Driven back-to-back, it was surprising how much the old CR-V wobbled about with excessive lateral body motions. According to chassis engineer Yuki Morita, correcting that was a top priority for this generation, and stiffening the body was the primary solution, resulting in the 2023 CR-V feeling so much more stable and poised. It also allowed engineers to adopt lower friction components throughout the steering system, which increases its smoothness and allows precision to remain constant even as effort has been lightened. Some may lament the CR-V's steering has lost some of its immediate, comparatively darty character, but Morita says that was largely done on the old model to counteract the insufficiently rigid body and subsequent body motions. In total, the CR-V is now much better to drive. None of this new and improvedness comes cheap, however, as the 2023 Honda CR-V is notably more expensive than its predecessor. Much of this has to do with Honda changing the trim lineup. The base LX trim level is discontinued since only about 10% of buyers went for it. That still would have accounted for about 36,000 sales considering how many CR Versas were sold last year. The new base trim level is now the well-equipped X, but even that is about $3,000 more expensive than last year, starting at $32,355 including the $1,245 destination charge. The hybrid-powered Sport is the next rung up the ladder at $33,695 and really only adds, beyond its powertrain, different styling flourishes, a leather-wrapped wheel and rear USB-C ports. We'd definitely start our shopping there. The XL Turbo and Sport Touring Hybrid share most of the same luxury upgrades, but the hybrid goes further with standard all-wheel drive, 19 inches wheels, in-car Wi-Fi, that fancy navigation system, a heated steering wheel and a surprisingly good Bose sound system.